Hello and welcome to this episode of the Guitar and Improvisation Podcast. Today we're talking about always and forever. We're going to go through the form and the progression and gain some insights into how we would, play chords obviously, but also improvise over the changes. Earlier this week, I recorded a solo on this tune and I shared that on my YouTube channel in a video called How to Practice or Effective Practice. And I'm going to run that recording through now to set up our talk. Okay, so now that we've played through an example solo, let's talk about the key, the form, the progression, and some areas where we might get tripped up. So we're in the key of A minor. I'd recommend, when you're getting this tune going, play a couple of different minor scales. Of course, start with the natural minor. Play with a natural 6. Play the melodic minor. And the harmonic minor. Oftentimes, tunes in minor will work with those 4 note collections. So the exercise there is to play it as a scale, maybe reference a simple A minor, maybe an E7, E minor, and D minor. Back to E7 here, and then A minor to get your ear acclimated to the key center. The form of the tune in its simplest terms is ABA. Let's talk about the A section here. So we have the 1 chord A minor, 4, 5 to the flat 6. That's A minor, D minor, E minor, F major, and of course we can have 7s involved with all of those. And then G7. Let's take a look at the root movement here. D, E, F, G. Those are all stepwise root movements. Improvising over these changes will feel a bit different than improvising over a tune like All the Things You Are, The Shadow of Your Smile, Autumn Leaves. The list goes on. But in those tunes, primarily, the root movement is going up 4ths and down 5ths. So practicing some arpeggios would be a good idea on this. Okay, so let's talk about those last couple of notes there. We're suggesting the E7, notice the resolution here, leading tone, back to the A minor 7. So after we go through this motion that we talked about, going up to the G7, we get G sharp diminished 7, or what we could think of as E7 over G sharp. And to take that a bit further, E7 flat 9 over G sharp. And then that goes up to the A minor. And that's where understanding the A harmonic minor will help when improvising, at least over that particular chord. Now our root movement starts to go down. So we have A minor 7, go to A flat major 7. So this is a very outside chord given the key that we're in. So we might simply think about the relative major in this key of A minor. So the relative major is C major. I'm playing a C6. And the parallel minor of C is C minor. So let's play C minor. And within that key center, we have A flat major 7. We're going to visit the key of 3 flats again later in this progression. Let's keep going. We have C major 7 over G. So the root movement is going down by a step. A little more chromatic this time. We're going to F sharp minor 7 flat 5. Although this chord is a little outside of the notes strictly in the key signature of A minor, now we're back to A minor again, we can simply consider that a melodic minor type scale. If we play that from F sharp, we can hear that it does fit this sound, although you could have a G natural in there as well. It's common to have a natural 6 minor 7 flat 5 in a minor key, so no real surprises there. F major 7. Yeah, we're just going down. We've done several chromatic notes. Let's just run over those root notes. F major, we came across that earlier. It's in our key center already. And then again, we're stepping out a little bit with this E flat major, or E flat 6/9. So again, we can consider the key of 3 flats again. D9. Let's consider that a secondary dominant 5 of the 5, borrowed from the key of 1 sharp. And then G7 with a sus4. Going to the relative major, playing a C major 9 here. Okay, and then we have F minor 6 over G. Kind of a mysterious sound, right? Okay. We can consider that as the 4 chord in C minor over the G. You can also think of it as a D minor 7 flat 5 over the G. And then we're off to the E7 flat 9 over the G sharp, which is 5 of the 1 chord over the G sharp. So there's our section, our A section. I'd recommend taking this into small amounts. Maybe take 1 measure, improvise on that, do 2 measures, 4 measure groups, and maybe 8 measure groups. Start with arpeggios and then work in the notes in between those arpeggio tones, really just given the context of what we just talked about. This next section, we have the same starting point, A minor, D minor, E minor, and then go into F minor 7 rather than the F major 7. So it takes a turn into a 2-5 in the key of 3 flats, E flat major. We get B flat over D, and D flat major. It's probably the most distant sound that we're going to have in this tune. I'd recommend working with the key of 4 flats. And then we're back to C minor 7. Okay, so key of 3 flats. We've got A flat over the C, still key of 3 flats. F minor 7, still key of 3 flats. G minor 7, still key of 3 flats. So here's an example of perhaps avoiding playing mode by mode. Just think of 3 flats and have your ear adjust to how the consonances and dissonances shift in that note collection as the chords change. And that will affect your improvisation. We're to A minor 7 flat 5. Okay, this chord is found in the key of 2 flats in G minor. Okay, next up we have D7 flat 9. Let's give it a sharp 5. So that's another chord that works in the key of G minor. It's just that you may want to be pulling from or want to be aware of the G harmonic minor. And this is a typical 2-5 motion in minor. So here our ear is kind of set up with this expectation of this minor chord. I just mentioned G minor. We get G major. So again, it's kind of playing around with our expectations, and G major just has a certain impact when it's followed by a 2-5 that typically sets up minor. All right, then again, we're back with the F minor 6 over G and the E7 flat 9 over the G sharp. We find ourselves back on the A minor 7 for the final A section. We play through that, and then we end up with this little repeated motion from the C major to the F minor 6 over G. And then we start cycling back to A minor. Okay, well, we work through the form, we work through the sections, gain an understanding of the key centers, the root movement. To summarize, we need to know key centers, and when working with minor, we have to develop some understanding of, at minimum, harmonic minor, so that we can work at a 5-to-1 progression, dominant 7, and its function of resolving to the 1 minor. Also working with closely related keys like the key of 1 sharp, which incidentally gives us a minor scale with a natural 6 when you look at it from the A in this example. Also melodic minor. And then some more distantly related keys like the key of 3 flats and its 2 centers or 2 tonal centers, C minor and E flat. And then we're adding 1 flat for the key of 4 flats, which we're playing over that D flat major 7 that comes up in the tune. So some theory, and it's pretty basic theory that you can apply and you want to apply through really all tunes. Thanks for listening to this episode. If you haven't already checked out our YouTube channel at Fret Prince, please do that. Lessons and Talks members of the YouTube channel also receive a video version of this talk, Substack members as well, and also on my member site, fretprince.com, where I have many more exercises, lessons, live streams. Enjoy your practice session, and I'll talk to you all in the next one.